Hey everyone! Welcome back to Financial Futures, your go-to source for everything Social Security, benefits updates, and financial advice for a stable future. We are just 11 short days away from the official 2025 Social Security COLA announcement, and I know everyone is eager to find out what that means for their monthly benefits. But today, I'm answering one of the most frequently asked questions in the comments recently. What's your final prediction for the 2025 COLA? Let's dive in. Before we get started, make sure to hit that subscribe button below to stay updated on everything Social Security, retirement, and government benefits. Trust me, you don't want to miss out, especially with all the announcements coming soon. And if you find this video helpful, hit that thumbs up button too, it really helps the channel. Alright, so like I mentioned, we are literally 11 days away from the official 2025 COLA announcement, and this is going to be my final projection before we get that big reveal. I'll break down the range I'm predicting for the COLA increase, as well as what that could mean for your monthly checks. Yep, more money in your pocket. But there's more. On that same day, we'll also get a mountain of other announcements from Social Security that will impact benefits in ways you may not expect. The COLA announcement is obviously the most popular one. It's your raise, after all, but other factors like Medicare premiums, income thresholds, and other adjustments will also be released that day. So if you're a current beneficiary or someone planning for future benefits, these changes will impact you as well, not just the COLA. I'll be covering all of these in detail once we get the official info, so stay tuned for those updates. Okay, now on to the big question: what's my final projection for the 2025 Social Security COLA? I've received so many questions about this in the comments, so let's go over the numbers. Earlier this year, I gave you a range of 2.3% to 2.5%, and while I'm sticking with that, I'm going to tighten things up a bit. Now, if I had to lock in one exact number for the 2025 COLA, based on the latest inflation data and what we've seen over the past few months, my best estimate is 2.4%. That's right, 2.4% is my bet for where the COLA will land. Of course, this is just an educated guess based on the current economic indicators, and I could be wrong, but this is what I'm predicting. Now I know some of you may be thinking, that seems low, especially when compared to last year's 3.2% COLA or the 8.7% COLA from 2023. And you're right, this would be the lowest COLA since 2021, when we saw an increase of only 1.3%. But remember, COLA is tied directly to inflation, and inflation has been dropping steadily since the first half of 2024. Earlier this year, when inflation was running higher, I thought we might be looking at mid-4% COLA, but as the year progressed and inflation cooled, so did the COLA estimate. Here's what we know so far: the COLA is determined by the CPIW, Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, and the data we need comes from the third quarter: July, August, and September. Since we're at the tail end of September now, there's no time for inflation to spike significantly enough to boost that number. So, with that in mind, I'm sticking with my 2.3% to 2.5% projection, and if I'm betting on one number, it's 2.4%. While it may not be as high as the last few years, it's still an increase. And when you factor in potential decreases in Medicare premiums or other costs, the impact could still be significant. Next, we have some big news. The US government just revised GDP figures, and it's important for you to understand what this means for the economy and, more importantly, for your wallet. So, humor me, listen closely, and let's dive in. First, let's talk about 2022. Originally, the GDP figures showed two negative quarters in a row, Q1 and Q2, which technically would signal a recession. You may remember hearing a lot about that. The initial numbers indicated that Q2 GDP was negative 0.6%. But here's the twist: the government just revised that number up to a positive 0.3%. You heard that right. No consecutive negative quarters means, by official data, the 2022 recession didn't actually happen. With this revision, the White House quickly responded, saying the U.S. economy actually grew faster from 2021 through 2023 than originally thought, and that real incomes have seen a boost. So, this revision isn't just a technicality, it paints a picture of a stronger economy than many had feared. Let's jump to this year, Q2 of 2024. Originally, they said the economy grew at 2.8%, which is solid. But guess what? That number was also revised up to 3.0%. This revision outpaced Wall Street's expectations, which had predicted 2.9%. This means consumer spending, private inventory investments, and non-residential fixed investments were stronger than anticipated. According to Michael Pierce, Deputy Chief Economist at Oxford Economics, these revisions only reinforce the belief that the U.S. economy is on solid footing for the near future. That's good news for jobs and economic stability. Look at the growth this year. Q1 2024 saw GDP at 1.6%, and by Q2, it accelerated to 3.0%. This is a sign of strength in the economy. But here's a question a lot of you are asking in the comments: if the economy is doing so well, why is the Federal Reserve cutting interest rates? Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell responded to this very question. He said the economy is growing, inflation is coming down, and the labor market is strong. So, why the rate cuts? Powell says it's to make sure the situation doesn't get worse. He didn't say the rate cuts are to make things better or to boost the economy further, just to prevent a downturn. Now, this is important. Powell's comments suggest that the current economic conditions are as good as it gets. So, don't expect rapid improvements in wages or housing affordability, and don't expect the labor market to get significantly better. The Fed's goal is to maintain, not improve. Now, let's look ahead. For the rest of 2024, we have 2 Federal Reserve meetings left, one in November and one in December. The Fed's projections show they plan to cut interest rates by another 0.5% by the end of the year. But here's where it gets interesting: markets are split on this. According to the CME Fed Watch tool, there's a 51.3% chance they'll cut rates by 0.25% in November, and a 48.7% chance they'll go for the full 0.5%. That's a coin toss. Let me know in the comments which one you think it'll be. By December, things get even more interesting. While the Fed projects another 0.5% cut by year-end, the market says there's a 70% chance they'll cut even more. What do you think? More aggressive cuts, or are they going to hold back? Now, for those concerned about inflation, yes, I hear you. Easing monetary policy could cause inflation to re-accelerate. And I agree. But here's the thing: it's not going to happen overnight. We may not see inflation climb until sometime in 2025. By then, the damage will already be done. And when inflation picks back up, you know what that means: higher rates again. To wrap things up, even though inflation has cooled, prices are still going up. So, while the rate of inflation is slowing, the cost of living is not necessarily getting cheaper. That's your GDP and economic update for today. What do you think? Drop a comment below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated with the latest economic news. Thank you for the support, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care and have a great day.